Today, it's being called the Anglophone problem, why English speakers in Cameroon are saying they are being treated like second-class citizens. I'm Femi OK.
I'm Ahmed Shabuddin, and you're in the stream.
Hi, I'm Bless. I pitched the story on the protests taking place in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon because I want us to have a platform where we can discuss the issues raised by the protesters and look for a way forward. I'm in the stream.
That was Bless Eyong, a member of our community, asking the stream to cover the protests in his country, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. For months, minority English-speaking lawyers, teachers, and students have been striking over what they say is the dominance of French in their institutions.
France and Britain controlled parts of Cameroon until 1961. Now just 2 of the country's 10 regions speak English. Students, teachers and lawyers there say that not enough educators and judges speak English. Materials are often available only in French and job opportunities are limited.
Protests recently turned deadly when government forces shot 4 people involved in the strikes. The government says it acted in self-defense and is open to discussing the challenges faced by Anglophones.
Here to help us talk about all of this, we're joined by Issa Tarome Bakari. He's the Minister of Communications for Cameroon. He also joins us from Yaoundé, the capital. Eugene Mfongwa is the editor of the Standard Tribune. He's also in Yaoundé. Harmony Bobga Mbutum is the president of the Northwest Lawyers Association, one of the groups that has been leading the strikes, and he's in Bamenda. That's the largest English-speaking city. And Amarine Bafoun is the founder of El Citoyen. That's a blog for civic opinions and activism. She's in Dakar, Senegal. Welcome, everybody. For somebody who's outside of Cameroon, they may find it a lot difficult to understand what is going on between English speakers and French speakers. Harmony, if you gave me one concrete example of how English speakers are at a disadvantage in Cameroon, what would it be?
Actually, there is a construct that is politically motivated. We cannot be talking about Anglophones because that is the construct of the French-speaking Cameroonians on us. We are talking here about 2 entities that came into an experiment to have a federal union. And the bigger part, that is the Republic of Cameroon that had independence on the 1st of January 1960, maneuvered its way to frustrate in the first constitutional experiment talks in Fumban to make sure that there was no federal constitution to guarantee our separate identity. And that manipulation has continued, and it has come to the point where the aspects of the economy, the judiciary, and the administration, public administration, have made the Southern Cameroonians the lesser people in the country that they were trying to forge out when Southern Cameroon followed East Cameroon, the Republic of Cameroon, by earning their independence on the 1st of October 19.
All right, so I hear you. We actually did a quick sort of summary of the history, so we don't spend the entire show talking about history. But what I wanted to hear was, Harmony's described English speakers as lesser people, Eugene, but I didn't hear a concrete example of how do we understand this better? This challenge better.
Let me give you. I needed to give
No, I'm going to ask Eugene. Harmony, I'm going to ask Eugene. Harmony, hold tight. Yeah. Eugene, give me a concrete example.
Yes.
Yes, of course. And what Harmony has been trying to explain is the fact that Cameroonians of English-speaking expression have consistently, across the board, occupied only second-level position in the administration of the country. There has never been a precedent. Right now, as we speak, the President of the Republic is Francophone. The President of the Supreme, the Chief Judge of the Supreme Court is Francophone. The Speaker of the National Assembly is Francophone. The Speaker of Senate is Francophone. And only the Prime Minister of the country, which the Prime Minister's office is a powerless office, is Anglophone. There are these kinds of examples across the board, whether it's state corporations, all of the big public institutions are headed by Francophones. Now, in Cameroon, there are some very powerful local administrators called prefects and sub-prefects. What has happened consistently over the years is that most of the prefects and the sub-prefects in the Anglophone territories of Cameroon have been Francophone, and many in that part of the country see this as a form of occupation. They call it a form of annexation and a form of assimilation, ensuring that the country becomes Francophonized, and that slowly the English and Anglo-Saxon culture that the Anglophones inherited.
And Eugene, I want to interrupt you right there because you're bringing up some of these terms that we keep hearing online. People using terms like annexation, colonialism. A lot of people pointing to, for example, what Ngala points out on Twitter here: constitutional reforms, the use of language as a tool for colonization, saying that natural resources in the English zone are controlled by them. Anne-Marie, at the top of the show, we actually had a little short video from Bless, who pitched this show to us from Cameroon. They also sent us some comments about the underlying causes here. Take a listen. I'd love to get your thoughts on this. This is Bless.
Okay. Well, I think the strike action that we have seen in recent weeks in Cameroon is just a reflection of a bigger problem. The way everything has happened so fast, it's evident that people had had a lot of pain and anger, frustration in their hearts, and they were just looking for the slightest opportunity to express exactly how they feel. So I think the government needs to do more to look into the original causes of this thing.
Anne-Marie, the underlying causes?
Yes, I lived in that part of the country about 10 years ago. So I was waiting for that. I was waiting for this situation. And I think, I will not say they are wrong, because it's true that they are considered as second-class citizens. As Eugene said earlier, there is that problem. They are like administrated by French-speaking people who are not familiar with their ways. So this is a problem. That's why they are talking about annexation, because they think that French-speaking Cameroonians want to be on top of them, even in their part of the country.
Minister, is any of this news to you?
Well, first of all, I would like to say hi to my brothers and sisters, and thank you, Al Jazeera, for giving us the opportunity to talk to each other. As far as the government is concerned, I'm the Minister of Communication, spokesperson of the government. As far as the government is concerned, there is no taboo. Whatever kind of problem we do have, it is always possible to settle them, to get them addressed, to get them solved. First of all, I want you to know that enshrined in our Constitution, we have two official languages of equal importance. Two official languages of equal importance. 2 weeks ago...
Minister, because you bring up history, if I just may quickly interject, one thing that a lot of people are referring to is, in fact, history online. We got a Facebook comment from Solomon Ate saying, this issue is far from being a language issue. It's about a people, the people of former British Southern Cameroon, whom the UN decided to grant them independence by handing them to another colonial master. We want our complete independence. Federalism is a cosmetic solution to this problem. As Femi asked you, is this new? I mean, are these kinds of calls new? People pointing to, for example, the UN resolution in 1961 and feeling as though what was promised is not the reality on the ground today?
I refuse it, I recant it, I deny what has said, just because I would like you to know one thing. We have 10 regions, 2 of them are mostly English-speaking people, and the 8 others, the majority of us, we speak French. The second aspect I would like to emphasize is the fact that today, the next generation, my kids, my grandkids, will be more Anglophone than Francophone. There is no doubt about it.
Can you explain that a little bit more, Minister? How is that possible?
Excuse me.
Yes, this is fact.
Precisely where the problem lies.
Yeah.
You see,
I beg your pardon? If this is
dear
precisely where the problem lies, the minister is beginning
oh no,
his
it
contribution
is wrong.
like somebody
So Harmony,
from the middle.
Harmony, hold tight for a
Yes?
moment. Let me just find out from the minister how his children are going to be more Anglophone than previous generations. Just briefly, Minister, because it's a debate and I want to get then.
After him to say something.
Yeah, Harmony, hold tight for a moment. Let the minister just explain that, and then you can continue.
I'm okay.
First of all,
that's okay.
Moderator, please. I
Minister,
wish you to be.
Minister, let's have the discussion and few appeals to myself because I'm interested in what you have to say. Tell us how the next generation are going to be more Anglophone than now.
I have 3 daughters. The 3 of them are more fluent in English than in French. I have 3 daughters, madam, right now. I say that they are more fluent in English than in French. All over the country, you have bilingual countries all over the country.
So let me just bring in Harmony. Harmony, go ahead. What did you want to say? What did you want to add?
This is fact, you cannot deny it.
Harmony, go ahead.
See, what the minister is saying is that they have succeeded in neutralizing the state of Southern Cameroon that came into union with them. And they have used language as a tool of adulteration of the identity.
So Harmony,
Harmony,
you're beginning to repeat yourself because you made that point very strongly right at the beginning of the show. Anne-Marie, let me show you something here.
No, I'm giving you concretely.
Yes.
I'm giving you concretely.
Well, make it swifter. Go ahead.
There is a process of annihilating the Southern Cameroon identity. Take for example, we have the court in the common law jurisdiction of Southwest and Northwest region, and the majority of magistrates who preside over the court and in the legal department are French-speaking and trained in the civil law system, which is diametrically different from the common law system that we came into the union with.
All right, Harmony, take a pause for a moment. Harmony, take a pause for a moment. Harmony.
Yeah?
Let me just ask the minister, why does that happen? Why have you got French-speaking judges in English-speaking territories?
It's a deliberate measure to make sure
Harmony, you are not the Minister of Communications the last time I checked. Let's listen to the minister and see if we can actually make some progress in this conversation. Minister.
Okay.
This is a dictatorship, madam. He's a lawyer, but this is a dictatorship. Please let me express myself on behalf of the government, please.
Minister, please go ahead.
Please,
I cannot be a better dictator than you. You know that.
Okay, please. Let me explain. Let me explain. Dear madam, the Prime Minister put in place an institutional framework tasked to examine all the problems.
Minister, when was this framework put in place? Are you talking about the commission to look into the grievances of Anglophone speaking?
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
As far as the government is concerned, madam.
How's this commission doing? Because what I asked you is, why are there French-speaking judges in English-speaking territories? Why would that happen?
But on behalf of integration,
it sounds chaotic and
madam,
disastrous.
No, not at all. I am sorry to deny, to gainsay what you said, madam.
No, I'm happy for the pushback, but if you send a French-speaking judge to an English-speaking territory, how does that work?
You have English-speaking people who are working in the Francophone zone. Can they deny this?
Yes, but Minister, if I just may interject. If everyone could just, for 1 second, I want to bring in the community here. Obviously, I know that everyone's feeling very heated. Anne-Marie, I saw you wanted to get in there as well. But Minister, to Femi's kind of point, the one that she's raising, many people from Cameroon, such as Kwachu here, saying, I am a student of the University of Bamenda, and can you imagine they keep deploying professors who can't speak English? The question is, why is this continuing? Anne-Marie, did you want to jump in?
Before jumping in and answering that, can I ask a question to the minister, please?
Yes.
Because he said something and I want him to clarify, please.
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Minister, you said that whatever problem we have, there is always a way to solve them, right? So I wish to ask if, since the first reaction of the government, it was a way to solve the problem.
I didn't understand your question, madam. Madam, can you repeat it?
Okay. Yeah, yes. You said whatever problem we have, there is always a way to solve them.
No.
So,
I said that the government is open. No problem is taboo. When your claim is grounded, is founded, the Prime Minister has put in place
Minister, let me just push forward a little bit. Yes, allow me to push forward a little bit because we're going round and round in circles. Anne-Marie, hold tight for a moment.
No, I'm sorry. Let me come in there. The Prime Minister's
And
office
Harmony,
has not
and
set
all
any
of the guests,
commission
just
to look
hold
into the
tight
problems
for a
of lawyers.
moment because I
The
want
Prime
to push
Minister
forward.
is
Harmony,
setting up- Okay.
Harmony, hold for a moment because what we don't have right now is clarity, and we do have the Minister of Communications, which is great. Minister, you talked about this commission. What is the government doing to help resolve some of these issues of the Anglophone territories in Cameroon? Give me some concrete progress that's being made.
Concrete progress consists of telling you, madam, no problem is taboo.
So nothing then? Nothing actual? So is that a mindset as opposed to action?
In place. There is a commission in place in charge of examining those questions, madam.
All right. So we're still at the questioning stage, but not at the action stage, Minister.
The action is there, madam.
What's the action?
The head of state instructed the government to recruit 1,000 bilingual people to serve our nation. This is a concrete solution. 2 billion, the head of state instructed the government to put at the disposal of teachers, of private sector, 2 billion to help them address and solve all the problems that they were confronted with. Why don't you let me
say something? Let me say something.
So guess, hold tight for a moment because I'm going to hear one voice at a time. Anne-Marie, hold tight for a moment. Harmony, go ahead.
Can I say something about what the minister is referring to?
I want to ask the minister a question. The commission that he is talking about, does this have the mandate to deal with the lawyers' problems? Does this accommodate the discussion of the federation issue? I am saying no. Because
Harmony, you can't answer your own question. Allow the minister to answer the question. Harmony,
you cannot raise the question and answer.
This is anything but harmony right now.
Yeah.
Harmony, hold tight for a minute. Minister, answer Harmony's question. Harmony, listen to the answer.
Yes.
Please, madam, I said that no question is taboo.
You keep repeating that.
You raise an issue of federalism.
Right.
We say that federalism, this question is not taboo, but when you want to raise this question, you have to come with our constitution and all the laws of the nation.
Goodness me.
If our constitution authorizes you to raise this issue, then the issue is receivable. The government will lend
Can I come in at this time?
Yes. Harmony, hold tight. And Minister, hold tight for a moment. Harmony, just give me a moment. Eugene, please, go ahead.
Okay.
Eugene.
Yes, I wanted to say a couple of things based on what the minister has just said. The first thing is the recruitment of 1,000 bilingual teachers. This falls very short of the demands of the teachers. Nobody asked the government to recruit 1,000 bilingual teachers. The 2 billion francs CFA that he refers to is subvention to private schools in the entire country. This has nothing to do with the problems that the teachers that are currently on strike asked. Now, the minister said there are two regions in Cameroon that speak mostly English, and this is the kind of language that is getting Cameroonians angry, because in Cameroon, the notion of Anglophone is not a notion of language. It's a territory, it's a history, it's a culture, which therefore means that his children who speak English in our conceptualization are not Anglophones. The government has a policy that is called national
Minister, if I could stop you right there, Eugene, in the spirit.
When the government decides
Eugene,
to distribute resources in terms of
Eugene, if I just may stop you there right there, because I just want to squeeze in one more question that's speaking directly to your point. In fact, Eugene, I don't know if you can hear me, Eugene.
And the government has been deceptive, not only to Anglophone Cameroonians, but even to Francophone Cameroonians, in skewing.
Eugene can hear you now. Okay, I'm going to take it away.
Well, quick thing, coming in. Minister, you repeatedly say that there's no question that's taboo. Many questions have been raised. We haven't had many answers today. One question that's coming in is this one. The irresponsibility of the government is what he is saying is behind the recent strikes. He says the government needs to acknowledge the fact that there are two separate people that came to form one. Minister, do you acknowledge that perspective?
We are one and single nation.
I understand.
According to our constitution, we are one and single nation. When there is a problem or when there are problems, round the table, it is always possible to address and solve all the problems.
But Minister, what I'm asking is not whether the constitution. Forgive me for interrupting you.
I am sorry.
That led to
whenever I want to express myself,
configuration that we have today.
Somebody
okay, carry on, Minister.
Interrupt
carry
me.
on.
This
carry
is,
on. Carry on.
This is completely wrong. This is completely wrong.
Because,
you see?
With respect, Minister, it's because the question I asked you is if we're talking about the history of two people coming to one. I understand that that's the purpose of the Constitution in your perspective, but it seems like a big part of the problem is that the people who are raising these concerns don't view it the same way you do or the government does.
Because they are not in good faith. We have 10 regions. Each region has its own specificity. They cannot deny this. If you put aside the language problem, then in my own area where I am native of, in my own area, we have our own culture, our own tradition, our own religion, and it is completely different with the rest of the nation.
Yes, I mean,
on behalf of our willingness to live together, then we accept each other. And
let me just bring in the voice of an opposition parliamentarian. This is Weber Joseph. He's a Cameroonian, and he was talking in Cameroon just a couple of days ago, and this is how he characterized the conversation that we're having, but in a very eloquent way. Have a listen to how he sees this issue.
The people of West Cameroon have a duty to resist your oppression. I call it oppression because of what I've seen in the field. That is the reason in this master plan to finish our culture and our people. You have chosen that every single administrator or every commander of the army is from East Cameroon. That is why they sit there and they can kill the people without remorse. This has to end.
Anne-Marie, you're a Francophone Cameroonian. When you heard that, what was your initial reaction? Do you see Cameroon in that way, in the way that certain territories and certain culture is being erased or neglected as a Francophone?
Yes, I see it that way. Yes, I see it that way. And Anglophones have every right to fight for their excuse me, I'm so mad right now. For their part of the country to remain just the way they want it to be.
Why are you mad?
Because I'm sorry, but what the minister is saying is not true. Because I asked him one question based on what he said, and he said that he never said that. But what he said is crucial to the matter.
Let me ask you one thing, because this stood out for me, is that...
Can you remind me, madam, what did I say? Can you remind me?
We will do that in the post-show, because this is a conversation that is by no means ended, and we will carry it on. Anne-Marie, if you could describe in a sentence how many people in Cameroon view Anglophone Cameroonians, what would that sentence be?
One, you said. One sentence, right?
Yeah.
In French-speaking part of the country, when someone tells you are a Bamenda, it means that you're stupid.
This is a big conversation. It's more than language. It's about culture. It's about history. It's about the Constitution. And it's ended right now for where we are. But Ahmed and I will be online at stream.aljazeera.com, where we will continue our post show, talk about Cameroon there. Hopefully see you soon. Take care, everybody. go again. We're talking about language discrimination in Cameroon and also more than that between the protests that have sprung up in two territories in Cameroon and how that fits into society right now and what the government is doing about it. So many questions for you, Minister. I think we should do a quick fire round with you and see if you can answer as many as possible. Ahmed, do you want to start?
Yeah, you know, a lot of people, Minister, want to hear from you and they want to hear these things clarified, specifically when it comes to the realities on the ground, what life is like, not in the political realm. Ian sent us this video about that. Let's listen into what Ian had to say.
You cannot deny the fact that English-speaking regions in Cameroon have been underdeveloped for too long. You cannot deny the fact that the common law system and Anglo-Saxon educations have been hijacked. The government needs to accept these and look at the demands of the southern Cameroonians and call all stakeholders to the table so that we can all dialogue and find a peaceful resolution to these problems.
Minister, what would you respond to, Ian?
As far as the development is concerned, I say he's completely wrong. Let me take the example of my own region. We don't have a university in my region. The two regions of the Anglophone region, they have university. They have any kind of investment that they need. In my own region, we don't have university. We don't have this and that, what they have in the Anglophone zone. It is completely wrong, the assessment of this guy, as far as the development is concerned. Then what he said, we agree. As far as the government is concerned, we agree. Round the table, there is no problem that can be examined thoroughly and settled. If round the table, you have people of good faith. The government say that we are open. There are problems, okay, no problem. Come with those problems. And let us sit round the table and see how can we address, how can we solve them. If you raise the problem that could be solved overnight, the government is ready to implement them. But in case those problems could not be solved overnight, then together we will find means and ways to address and to solve them. This is the spirit of the government. This is our nation. I agree with what the young boy said. Let us come together, listen to each other, raise the issue.
Honey, we've got lawyers on strike.
Do you feel frustrated?
Lawyers...
Do you feel something is going wrong somewhere? Okay, let us meet together. There is no need to go to war to fight each other to address and solve those problems.
All right, Minister, I hear you. Moving on. I hear what you're saying. Harmony, there are lawyers and there are teachers on strike right now. What are you aiming to achieve from this strike?
We communicated to the government since the 9th of May 2015, this is more than 1 year ago, the things that we're not happy about, and the government kept silent. After that, we issued about 7 communiques to the head of state, complaining about the same thing, and there was no response. The government is playing the ostrich in the face of the problems that we have raised. And as the Minister of Communication is invoking the idea of bad faith, the people with the crystallized bad faith is the government. They are doing just the wrong thing in responding to the complaints of a people who are aggrieved. And he has talked about dialogue. We have had the parliamentarians talk with us. We have had the Prime Minister come and talk to us. And what they are thinking they can do is to send after ever so often people to come and talk with us until the thing will wear out. The truth about it is that the government knows that as far as there is no act of union between Southern Cameroon and the Republic of Cameroon, they do not want to discuss the issue of Southern Cameroon, and he tends to dilute it by referring to his own region. I would like to ask the minister, when you escaped from Cameroon after you were harassed in this country by this government, and you met us in the Bronx, the language you gave out against the President of the Republic, is that the same language you are maintaining now that you have been rehabilitated and made a minister after disposing of your party virtually? You may laugh, but it is a serious matter. In Cameroon,
please,
ministers and other appointees, when they
So,
give
Harmony,
them the opportunity
please,
to eat, they forget about the real issues and they do not. They lose their opportunity.
So Harmony, I'd like to hear from Eugene for a moment.
And we would like you to
Harmony?
advise the government, since you are the spokesperson, to make sure that this problem is attended to.
All right, so Harmony, I hear your frustration and I hear your anger,
The lawyer problem?
which extends far beyond this conversation. I understand where you're coming from, and I hear your frustration. I just want to go to Eugene. Eugene, I'm wondering whether this is more about the Cameroonian people or more about government administration. Where is the issue? Is it about governance or is it about culture and attitude? Harmony, your name is not Eugene. So if your name is Eugene, I would love to hear from you.
Now, the problem is really about constitutional violations.
Please.
The minister talks about the constitutions and what the constitution allows. He should know more than anyone that the constitution of this country is a document that the powers that be can change at any time when it suits them. And that's exactly what has happened to the evolution of Cameroon, to the point where today we are talking about a one and indivisible Cameroon when we started off as a federalism. The issues of the Anglophones have made it very clear that they don't have a problem with Cameroonians who speak French. The problems have been raised against the government and the state institutions that have ensured that the Anglophone stays in a second position in the management of public affairs. Now, the minister did mention his region. The minister forgets that his region did not need to go through a referendum to become part of Cameroon. The Anglophones did. There's a big difference when you consider that and factor into your analysis.
Okay.
And you have also heard the minister systematically refuse to answer the question.
No, the minister was answering the question, Eugene, but he was answering them in his own fashion. And I think you can take a lot of information away from the way in which he decided to answer the question. We are almost out of time here. Ian Kiku says here that Anglophone use, sometimes, Amory, no answer is an answer, particularly when it's a minister. Ian Kiku says Anglophone youths are amongst the brightest minds but can't find jobs or positions of leadership based on meritocracy. This to me feels like it's perhaps the most important point that's been made in this entire conversation about the young people of Cameroon feeling that they're left out of the mix. Minister?
Thank you, Madam. I totally and completely disagree with what the lawyer said. I'm a politician, I'm a political leader. I am free to choose my way. And if I am wrong, this is my problem. This is not your problem. I will never allow you to be a dictator who will tell me what I have to do. Please, when you were speaking, I was silent, listening to you religiously. Now I am talking, I have the floor. If you don't want me to express myself, then I leave the floor.
Something that is not correct, I have to interrupt.
Harmony, you should listen, and then then we debate backwards and forwards. Otherwise, it just turns into mayhem. Minister, finish up quickly. We're right at the end of the show.
Okay.
What I want to say is that as far as the youth is concerned, we have a problem. We have a youth unemployment problem. But this is not specific to the English zone. It is by far more important in our own area. What the government is doing is to move, is to put together all conditions which will enable investors to come and invest in this nation. And this is what is taking place, madam. You see?
So guests, you know what I'm hearing, Minister and guests, what I'm hearing is this is a deep, deep, deep issue. Are the politicians up to the task and the challenges of addressing that issue? I'm leaving you the question here. No question is taboo, as we've learned in this conversation.
Never has been.
Ahmed, what do you want to wrap up with?
Well, you know, we've talked a lot about the lawyers, we've talked about the teachers, various parties' concerns. Minister, I just want to share these last two tweets with you. Nietzsche saying, when the lawyers raised concerns and were met with violence, it opened up old wounds, especially in opposition stronghold Bamenda. And then Jean-Claude responds saying, The Anglophone teachers and lawyers have formed a consortium to represent Southern Cameroon. The government should dialogue with them. Minister, that likely to happen very quickly? A dialogue?
Let me tell you this, the responsibility, yes, dialogue is dialogue. We need dialogue, and through dialogue, all the problem could be examined and settled. But the responsibility of the government, all the government worldwide, is to protect the physical integrity of people and their property. When you have a vandal who prevent people from organizing their rally, they aggress people, they go on riot and political upheaval. It is wrong. The responsibility of the government is to protect civil rights.
So, Minister, and Eugene and Harmony and Anne-Marie, there are lots of people going to go away from this conversation who are really deeply unhappy with how this conversation went. Online, what are people saying?
Online people are talking about this conversation, and maybe one person pointing out something unique, saying right here to us, to AJ Stream for tweeting out in French, you've tweeted about this Cameroon problem in both English and French. One person thinks the government can't do that, always French. Maybe that's the problem.
Guests, thank you so much. You just give us a little insight into the challenges that you have right now regarding Anglophone and Francophone parts of Cameroon. Thank you very much for bringing those challenges to the stream. Take care, everybody. Appreciate your time.